As holidaymakers are still flocking to and enjoying the new year across the country's beaches, safety remains a major concern. The NSRI has been assisting with rescue operations around the country, but to get a sense of what's happening out there, we're now joined via Skype by Craig Lambinon. Craig, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program, and Happy New Year to you. But I guess at this time of the year, this is part of the year that you're most busy.
Yeah, that is correct. It has been relatively busy. We are complimenting the public who are going to beaches where and when the lifeguards are on duty and only swimming between the safety marcated swimming zones that the lifeguards post. That is the first line of defense for a family visiting the beach, going to the coastline, but also waters, rivers, lakes, dams, and even your swimming pool at home. We are continuing to encourage a safety-conscious mindset around water.
All right, take us through what a safety-conscious mindset entails, particularly at this time of year.
So we are appealing to families, parents, or caregivers to make sure that their children have responsible adults in and around water. That doesn't mean just someone who's responsible to be near to them. It means while they're swimming, not to not to be distracted by your cell phone or by conversation, but someone who's actually physically watching them while they're in the water and swimming. Drowning is silent. The person who's drowning is simply trying to stay afloat, trying to get air in their lungs. They don't have the ability or the will to call for help or to wave their arms. So the caregiver, the responsible person watching the children, needs to physically be watching them. And if you are going to the beach, make sure that you go to beaches where and when the lifeguards are on duty and obey the instructions of the lifeguards. Only swim within the safety marcated swimming zones that the lifeguards post using their red and yellow flags. Also for boaters and paddlers, to download and use our NSRI RSA Safe Tracks app on your smartphone. That if you get into trouble in the water, press a button on your phone and it tells us exactly where you are. We can come to exactly that position. Everybody's on high alert. We're expecting it to be very busy over the next few days, including the coming weekend. This is a critical time, but we are in the public and complimenting the public who are adhering to these safety messages and swimming at beaches where and when the lifeguards are on duty, and to the caregivers and the parents who are making sure that they've got a safety-conscious person physically watching their children while in the water.
And I would imagine, particularly for first-time beachgoers, not to underestimate just how dangerous water can be, even where it's shallow.
Yeah, so rip currents remain the greatest cause of drowning around the coast. We have sadly had an incident today at Salt Rock in KwaZulu-Natal, where sadly there has been a fatal drowning recorded. Our condolences are conveyed to the family and friends of that. So it is simply a case of if you are at the coast and you're swimming between the safety marcated swimming zones of the lifeguards, they're watching out for where the rip currents are forming, moving their safe areas away from the rip currents. So if you're swimming in that particular place, that's your safe area, but also the lifeguards are physically watching the people in the water. We had an incident yesterday where at Strandfontein on the west coast, a man had been swept out to sea by rip currents. He was in the process of drowning. Lifeguards noticed him in the water and they reacted, which is what a lifeguard is trained to do, to be reactive. They reached and he was quite surprised at the speed at which the lifeguards reached him, and so after he had already made up his mind that he was going to drown because he had reached the end of his ability to stay afloat. So that is the key, to be where the lifeguards are, have a safe day at the beach. We're obviously hoping and encouraging everybody get to the beach safely and go home all safely together.
Imagine, even for experienced swimmers, care really should be taken. What if you see someone in distress next to you? What should be the first thing that you do? I guess you don't also want to put yourself in danger if you're not able to assist immediately.
Now, we don't encourage Samaritans to jump into the water to try to rescue someone, because the good getting into trouble and ends up drowning. We do encourage you to throw something that floats. For that reason, the NSRI, knowing that people will still go to beaches where there aren't lifeguards, but we know where there are drowning hotspots, even though you can't physically have lifeguards at every single beach everywhere in the country. So we've posted our pink rescue buoys at some of those beaches with instructions. And it does say on the board, throw the flotation buoy. Or if you're at a beach where there isn't a pink rescue buoy, you can throw a floating object like a bodyboard or a surfboard, and then hold on to that and call the NSRI on our national emergency number 112, and there'll be a response. If you are near to lifeguards, if there are lifeguards at that beach, call the lifeguards and that act. And of course, in any drowning emergency, it's not only the NSRI volunteers and the lifeguards that react to emergencies, it's the entire emergency services. You've got the likes of helicopter rescue teams, fire and rescue services, the police, law enforcement, ambulance services are all reacting to these emergencies. And it's a very quick response, but the key is to get help there as quickly as possible. Don't hesitate. Call 112 to activate NSRI and the emergency service just to an incident.
I know that areas are carefully cordoned off and we should stay in the safe swim areas. Are sharks something that we always need to be cognizant of?
There have been a number of alerts for sharks over this season so far. Incidents in East London, in Plettenberg Bay, where lifeguards and the municipalities have asked the public not to swim after sharks have been noticed close to the beach. Again, we compliment the public that they're adhering and they're obeying the instructions of the lifeguards and the municipal authorities in these cases. When all clear is given, people can go back into the water. But we know that there are sharks in the sea, and it's not always that easy to identify them, especially if it's murky water. So don't go too deep into the ocean. Be at a beach where there are lifeguards on duty. Have a safe day. We are, as I say, expecting a lot of people still to be at our beaches tomorrow, Friday, and this coming weekend, and we are encouraging everybody to keep safety top of mind.
And again, you know, we can't overemphasize that we know not to drive and drink, and it must be the same for swimming because your ability to make decisions is greatly impaired.
That is correct. Don't drink and swim, and don't drink and go boating, and same as driving your car. If you are under the influence of alcohol and you're in the water and you do get into difficulty, your senses aren't as reactive as they would be sober. So being sober in the water while you're swimming is, again, the way that you should be conducting yourself while you're swimming. So we do continue. People don't drink and swim, and don't drink if you're going to go boating or surfing for that matter.
I don't know whether this is a myth that I was told when I was much younger, but there was this big thing about if you've had lots to eat, that don't go swimming straight away. What's the story with that?
Yeah, I think there might be a bit of a tale there, but it certainly can't do any harm to go swimming on an empty stomach. You certainly won't be as heavy. All kinds of other complications around that, but we would probably encourage people, don't eat if you're going to go swim, but more importantly, don't drink alcohol if you're going to go and swim.
Okay, so a bit of a old wives' tale perhaps mixed in there. Craig, we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much.